Hello, singing friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Mickey here, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction request from Michael Germon, and this is to a band that I haven't heard before. This is a British band called UFO, and he says that was the name of the club they were playing at when they were discovered by their record company. So that's how they got their name. He says, the singer is the well-regarded Phil Mogg. An interesting note about this band is that the lead guitar player was the original Prodigy lead guitar player for German band The Scorpions, Michael Schenker. I had the pleasure of seeing them perform both of these songs live in Chicago around 1977, and they were fantastic. So I'm going to break this up into two videos, but the first song is called Love to Love, and it's a lyric video. And Mike writes, this song is yet another example of how great music used to be when everything was epic. We've lost a lot since then, I think. Great instrumentation in this song, including a great use of keyboards and strings. The lyrics are about singer Phil Mogg being tired of the shallow rock star road life and wanting his girlfriend back. This song features one of the greatest iconic and very famous solos ever at the end by the great German guitarist Michael Schenker, who was around 22 or 23 years old at the time. Seeing it played by him live in the 70s was a goosebump inducer that brought the house down. Okay, and he's included some pictures, and they definitely look very glam and exciting. All right, so let's check it out. So again, this is the band UFO, and the song is called Love to Love. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause it there for a moment. I hate to interrupt it in the middle of the intro, but I don't wanna let it play for too long uninterrupted or YouTube is gonna zap us. So, extremely epic, right? It starts with those harmonizing guitars, and then there's a gong. I mean, what's more epic than a gong, right? And then that keyboard comes in and the bass layers on top of it. And the bass almost sounds like it's like an acoustic bass or something, because it's very clear and you can really hear it cutting through. Then you have those epic guitars, and it becomes very complex with all the different layers, and then it becomes simplified again, and then you had these strings at the end. So I already feel like I've been taken on this journey, and we're listening to like a symphony with all of these different complex sections. So it's obviously not like a straightforward 3-minute pop song, you know? This has like a lot of layers and a lot of complexity, and I really appreciate that. All right, let's continue. And by the way, we're at 2:35. We're still in the intro, so very epic.
Oh, there's been too many times and I can't go back. Night bars, guitars, run down motels like shacks. What it amounts up to, I don't want it at all. Lost you and I want you today. Misty green and blue. Love to love you. Misty green and blue. Love to love you.
Very, very nice. So I love that chorus, right? So the verse is very conversational, and the scansion of the lyrics are really interesting, very unexpected. You know, there's like a lot of words in there, and it's interesting the way he phrased them. And then when you get to the chorus, it's like very, very straightforward and memorable, and really opens up into that misty green and blue. Oh, I love to love you. Right? It really is like memorable and soaring, and it's like, this is the chorus. We have arrived. And I like his delivery also a lot on the verse. The verse is like, it's very simple melody, and he's singing in like a very cool way, you know, like he's not like overly enunciating, and the words are just like flowing in this really nice kind of cool delivery. Very cool voice. I really like it so far.
don't know where I'm going to. I've tried and I need you to stay.
Cool. I like the falling off the cliff ending. Dun. So I really liked the guitar solo. I think my guitar player Andrew would really enjoy it too. He's probably heard them. He knows all the guitar players in the world. But so Michael Schenker is the name of the guitarist again. And I really like that type of solo where it's not like repetitive and it doesn't have like a clear map, you know, like it almost sounds somewhat improvised and inventive, and it never really repeats itself. I thought that was really, really cool. And I loved the tone of the guitar. Also, you had the first verse, chorus, and what I would call the tag. And the lyrics are pretty innocent too, you know, like, I just want to be near you. It sounds very 70s in that sense, which is very, very cute and nostalgic. You know, it's a little bit before my time, 1977, not much. I was born in 1980, but there is like almost like this innocence about that time period that I'm nostalgic for, even though I never really experienced it firsthand. One thing that I noticed about the singer's voice, Phil Mogg, when he sings, he gets a little bit of like vocal fry on his tone sometimes, which I also, when I talk, you can kind of hear it. My voice will kind of relax into that sometimes. And that's like when your vocal folds are just like not fully closing, you know, you get a little bit of that. So he's getting a little bit of that voice, which gives it like a little bit of more seasoned flavor and texture, you know. It's not so like pure, which I think gives it a lot of character, which I really like. And the lyrics also are kind of like not too specific, and you can read a lot into them. They're more like general, you know. The thing that sticks out to me is the chorus, obviously, the misty green and blue. Oh, I love to love you. That's obviously very memorable. And then the verses are a little bit more like just kind of stream of consciousness, and I wouldn't be able to like quote them back to you, you know? There was one line that was like, sometimes it's just too sad or something, like that one I remember, but most of them just kind of flowed past and were just like more conversational. I really liked, you had the verse, the chorus, the tag, and then the intro had like a reprise, right? There was a guitar solo, little mini solo that was very nice. The tone was great. And then you had kind of a reprise of the intro where it just built. You had that keyboard that almost sounds like rain. It was very, very light and sweet. And then you had that epic guitar hit, that da-da-da, which almost sounded like The Who or something, right? And then it like really gets going and it gets much more complex. And then of course we had that wonderful solo at the end, which I already talked about. So overall, I really thought it was an epic, beautiful piece of music. I really liked it. I loved the complexity of it and how it didn't sound formulaic, and it wasn't just like this 3-minute or 3.5-minute rock pop song. It really was more complex than that and more inventive than that. I think personally for me, the one critique that I would have of it is I would have loved for the lyrics in the verse to be a little bit more memorable. Let's take a look at the lyrics. I think that would be worth checking out. Hold on. Oh, it's been too many times and I can't go back. Night bars, guitars, run down motels like shacks. What it mounts up to, I don't want it at all. Okay, so that in a nutshell is really what Mike told us the song was about, right? So he's been living this rock star lifestyle, and, you know, hanging out in bars and going to rundown motels, which I'm sure means he was shacking up with a lot of women, right? A lot of groupies. And then he kind of is disillusioned and he realizes that that's not what he wants. Lost you and I want you today. So obviously she was driven away by his behavior and now he regrets it, right? Misty green and blue, love to love you. Misty green and blue, love to love you. To be something, to be near you. Don't say that you'll never know. Love to love you. Half the time it could seem funny. The other half is just too sad. To westbound moons, all they rise and fall. And then it repeats. So yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with the lyrics. It's just, there's not a lot of them, right? It repeats a lot and there's just not like a lot of substance there. I think it gets the point home, you know, and I think it's definitely an interesting song. Yeah, I mean, it's very self-aware. There are a lot of rock stars that spend their whole lives, you know, sleeping around with groupies and never come to that realization that there's something more that they're missing. So on that level, I think it's a cool sentiment and message. And I wonder who it's about. And I wonder if they ever got back together, if it's a real story or not. Very, very cool. So I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for the recommendation, Mike. And tune in for my next video because I will be reviewing another UFO song. All right, see you then. Bye.